Yay, it worked. Okay, neat.
That's
we
how
are...
ring light works with glasses.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Bummer. Well, now I know. Oh, man. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Beautiful.
So, welcome to episode 10, double digits now, of Crits and Giggles, playing through Princes of the Apocalypse plus, the big plus. Oh man, okay, normally I wouldn't do this, but Tarzan, what's up, man? It's been forever. If you guys don't know Tarzan, he's a dude that I used to play lots of video games with.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I know Tarzan.
Yeah.
Tarzan.
Good to see you, man. Anywho, so we're on episode 10 of Crits and Giggles, Princes of the Apocalypse Plus, and this is our basically second point, I think, that the whole group together is going to sort of start out today with, after I do the recap of the last session, we're actually going to go into a little bit of a, not a full-on talk show, but kind of like a checkpoint, both player and character level sort of checkpoint, having completed like a significant marker in the overall campaign, the overall arc of the major storyline. I wanted to set up a sort of check-in at both the player and character level just to get a general vibe of where are you at? What kind of mysteries do we still have? What if anything, have we resolved at this point? And get a general sense of where people are at with those kinds of thoughts. So I'll start with recapping the last session, which was intense. Multiple tense. We started with the big fight at the top of Feathergale Spire. And for context, this was basically immediately following a fight that had already happened against a couple of manticores where the party teamed up with the Feathergale Society. But after not really convincing the leader of the Lord Commander of the Spire, Thurl Maraska, that the party was kind of neutral, he basically attacked them. And at that point, after attempting to throw a couple people off of the spire, he was attacked from a distance by a group of Aarakocra, who, out of nowhere, came and helped the party in this fight. So it was pretty intense. It was easily the biggest fight you guys have had so far. And at the end of it all, the party's obviously victorious. And after doing non-lethal damage to make sure that we could try to get some info out of Thurl himself, he has a really tense exchange with Cal. And we actually clipped this earlier and sent it to the party. Everybody's face at the moment, at the apex of this interrogation, basically, after Thurl had just entirely laughed off everything Cal had to say, everything he tried to do to intimidate. He just completely laughed it off. Cal let him go off the edge of the spire. So it is notable that Thurl mentioned a queen who will conquer them all, who is to be the new ruler. It's very vague phrasing on his part. And after more of a discussion with the Aarakocra and finding out that they're basically scouting the area, they feel called to be here.
Oh no, not this early. We can't have it.
Oh no.
Guys.
Oh no.
It'll take like 10 seconds, and then he'll be like, what? And we'll be like, you said see?
There you are.
Okay,
we got you back.
The last thing we heard was scouting the area.
Okay.
Scouting the area. Thank you, because
This did not happen at all yesterday. I don't know what the deal is. Sorry about that. Okay, so the Aarakocra scouting the area said they felt basically called to be here. So they were going to stay and continue to scout, but that your paths might cross again someday. They did make mention of the Feathergale Society worshiping the person depicted in the statue at the top of the spire that you guys know is called Yan Si Bin. I forget if we ended up specifying who he is or if any of you knew that. Could you help me out with that?
I wrote his name down.
We knew that he was worshipped by them and he was the god of the spire, but I think that's as far as any of us knew.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. At that point, you gues basically combed through the spire on your way down. After Gert friendified one of the hippogriffs and put it back into his stable, you guys combed through the spire. You didn't really find much of note other than a few valuables and a letter to Thurl Maraska from this supposed queen, which made mention of other cults, like basically clear as day, as well as other orbs, which you guys freaked out a little bit about. I wasn't sure if that was joy excitement or like, oh shit excitement. Probably some kind of mix. And as well as vague mention of a dwarf and probably one or two other people. I would have to pull up the note to see for sure. But at least one, if not more people that you guys are currently assuming are related to, if not the people that you're kind of looking for, this missing delegation. At that point, you don't really find anything else of note throughout the spire, so you actually end up taking one of the hippogriffs as well as the cart. Oh, two of them?
Mm-hmm.
F.
Both of you.
Yep.
Okay. Noted.
Because
I forgot.
we have
Yeah, I
we
read
have
one.
names for them.
Yeah.
We leave all the money there, but we have to take the two giant hippogriff friends that are also going to cost us money to keep alive. Okay, cool, great, thanks, team.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know,
he-
but they didn't say anything about charging us for the hippogriffs.
Right,
they
but like
seemed
in
just
general,
very
to
excited
keep
about
another
it.
giant thing alive, we're going to have to like keep feeding each other giant things.
He-
And giant things are less free than tiny things. Turns out.
We'll get to that in a couple minutes, because that is a point we're gonna have to visit. But after causing an almost panic by flying in on creatures that people clearly have not seen before, you take them to the stables to a very excited, great, blanking out on the name. Thalorn. Yes, thank you. The stable keeper who is in charge of all the horses for the town, and he's like all over it. And I will at least say right now, he made zero mention of payment for at least his services today. He was just so enthralled by these creatures that he had only ever seen in books and his studies of animals. So now you're in Red Larch, and I believe you said you were heading toward the constable when we cut for the session. Did I miss anything or misrepresent anything?
We leveled up.
Oh, yeah, leveled up.
Yeah.
You leveled
Yeah.
up to 4, yes. Okay, so at this point, for anybody who would like to, I have a couple of specific questions if you would like me to ask you specific questions, but if you have general idea of what you'd like to talk about, I say go for it. But this is the opportunity for you guys to have that sort of checkpoint talk. This is both in and out of character. Again, major plot points that you think we lost or that you think have advanced in any sort of way. Any new mysteries. Where's your character at? Where are you at? All that sort of stuff.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Gert, you can go ahead. I have.
I think Gert is last check-in. She was pretty. She didn't want to trust anybody in the town, and now I think she is more willing to trust more people because they have done things for them to prove they are trustworthy. So I think she has sort of, and again, that could also just be me being the person, like me, the player, being gullible, because I am terrible about that in all movies and books. So
Well, there's a balancing act
Yeah.
happening with that too, though, right? Because there was like a very serious focal point at the point I think it was right before the cave-in happened that the constable told you, right now I don't really trust anyone, and that put your mistrust like at 11, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you saying that it's
But-
kind of come back down a little bit since then? You're kind of finding out the ebb and flow?
Yes, and like, with the genuine care and reactions that we have gotten from, Yolantha and Thaylorn, so far I'm feeling more comfortable with them. I feel like I would have more discussions with Yolantha than I would with Thaylorn as like a person to bounce ideas off of.
Okay.
But yeah, I am less concerned that the entire town is just like gone. That was my concern. I thought that everyone in the town was just like brainwashed and they were all, working for somebody else. So
Okay.
I'm less concerned about that. It's still there, but I'm less concerned about it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I got.
So last check-in, Taryn had, I believe the last check-in we had was kind of when we found out that the delegation went missing. And at that point, Taryn was hyper-focused, at least mentally, on finding out where they went because of his personal bonds with a possible member of the delegation. And since the Manticore fight, after the Dukes or the Aarakocra had said that there were people in that cave that had arrived at about the same time the delegation had been ambushed, that's cranked up even more now because now he thinks he knows where they are and wants to get prepared as soon as possible and get as much information as he can. But I believe also during the Manticore fight was the first time he used the Hellish Rebuke spell as a racial feature. So as a magical source, it felt different to him, and now he's confused about this new power that he receives. It feels different than than the power that he gets from his devotion.
Okay.
And I think that's about it for now.
Anyone else? Or are we itching to get right at it?
I think Whirl is calming down a bit. Like, I realize that I personally, every time we find new information, start pointing at the Pepe Sylvia wall.
It's so good. It's so
And
good.
I think Whirl is just kind of like, cool, what else is new? Like, every time something like else and wacky happens, like, now we have hippogriffs and like, now we have a fucking bomb. And like, she just kind of like, this is my life now, is kind of where she lives. But I also think she's understanding more of like her own power and how the things, like what things she is more capable of doing. And I think she's going to start working towards like being more of a face to the party, like doing more conversing and seeing what she can do in that way. And also like maybe like a little bit of hurting the cats while also still being one of those cats. Kind of how I feel
Okay.
at all times. So
Nice.
yes. My big ones, I guess.
Do you want to go, Cal?
I mean, I don't really have much of anything. I guess he's getting a little more. No, not getting more. He's getting a little less cordial because there is a sense of distrust from people and things, and as he's trying to kind of put some of the pieces together, he's also just I don't know, starting to harbor back to his military days and his his no, like, zero tolerance policy for people of who are liars and deceitful in all these different ways. So I think the as the intensity of the threat grows, there's going to be some interesting choices that he has to make.
Okay. As evidenced by the I drop him.
I drop him.
Everybody's face at that point. Oh,
It was the 5 stages of grief all at the same time.
Yeah.
oh man, I don't think I could pick a favorite too. Everybody was just like, oh. And I was like, okay, let's flip back to these guys.
Quick react to what just happened.
Yeah. Ash, did you have anything else, or not to single you out?
No, it's okay. Just some kind of quick observation kind of things. Iz has always been really comfortable in a found family kind of situation, since that's how she was brought up. So initially working with the party as just kind of all right, these are the people I'm going to work with. It's going to be fine. And then like developing relationships with everybody and like feeling like it's actually like family. She feels a little bit more comfortable around everyone and loves the chaos of Whirl. So she's like sticking near her. So it's like
Awesome.
It's so good. It's so good. Definitely confused about like the power struggle between all the different cults. Like, okay, so we were out here to come and check out some weird stuff, and weird stuff is certainly happening. Like, what the hell is the bigger picture? What did we get ourselves into, kind of a thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think all of that sounds pretty on point for what I could reasonably expect at this point. I don't think that I really need to. I was actually really worried that I would mess something up because there's so many people, places, and things in this campaign overall. And I think that if we take everything that you guys have been thinking about today so far, and couple that up with our last checkpoint, which was after some very different types of events with like undead stuff and like mysterious voices and like omniscient beings. Everything that you've done between then at this point has been a lot more localized. So it'll be exciting to see where everything ends up going. But I think without further ado, we can get back into you guys heading over to the constable's place, right?
Yes, sir.
I would imagine you have a lot of stuff to talk with them about.
Yeah.
At
Quick
this point,
rundown.
what's that?
I was just gonna say a quick rundown just so we remember what we were bringing to the constable.
Oh, I had a list.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a very small list.
It was 4
was-
things.
I remember we wanted to talk to him about, what happened.
Mhm.
Potentially bring up the armor. Potentially talk to him about keeping an open dialogue with Diarathra up in Tribor? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tribor.
Tribor.
And then a fourth thing that I don't remember. Oh, find out where
the
the two
cloak.
places are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
where
secret
where those
monastery and the river guard keep.
Yeah.
And then there was also a cloak with a weird symbol on it that we wanted to see if he knew anything about.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say that you guys, it's like mid-morning because you left basically right away, just a few miles away. Took the hippogriffs to the stables and came straight here. So yeah, it's late morning at this point, and you get to the constable's place. If you just give it a knock, he'll respond. Come on in. Nothing really seems any different from the last couple times you visited. And when you go in, do you guys go in?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you go in, you'll see a very typical sight. The constable and his 4 companions. There is the iconic slabs of meat hanging out in various places across the tables on the room, but they are not actively working on them at the moment. It seems like you're coming in the middle of an active discussion.
Do we hear any bits of this discussion?
No, you would have heard nothing but muffled voices on your way over and in.
Knock knock.
Yep, you're already like in at this point.
Like no, I'm like walking in and like saying,
Oh,
knock knock.
Perfect.
one of the 4 gentlemen that you've not heard speak before kind of gives you a smirk.
We're back, and we have some stuff to talk about, Constable.
Help me out a little bit here. I'm blanking on if he knew you were heading to Feathergale Spire. He directed you there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he told us where. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So he'll respond, I'm glad to see you guys again. I hope things went well. Do you have new information?
We have quite a bit of information, actually, and some new companions, as you probably saw fly in.
Yeah, that created quite a stir.
Yeah, we have
It
people.
might have, but now the people get to see. Now the people of the town get to see hippogriffs. So,
They're very good boys.
Well, that's good to hear.
We have some documents that probably shouldn't be out in the open.
Documents?
Yes. DM, was it me or Cal that had the letter in their room?
I had the letter.
It was
Whirl had the
yeah.
letter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You all found it.
We have a letter written to what we believe to be the leader of some organization that is definitely up to no good.
World, do you hand it over, or is he bullshitting for you?
No, I'll hand it over. And I'll say from what we talked to this group. Turns out they are a cult called the Howling Hatred. They are aware of the other groups in the area. They are warring with the other groups in the area. And this gentleman, Thurl, seems to be the head of this group of the Howling Hatred, with a note from what we assume to be their queen back to Thurl, that also mentions some of the other groups in the area.
At the first mention of the word cult, and then like immediately after, you just kind of casually go into mentioning 3 other cults. The 4 other men in the room immediately like give each other a look, and then they were in there kind of relaxed, like leaning on the walls, arms crossed, like focused but not really like intent on anything. At that point, they kind of give each other a look and just stand up. And the constable's going to look at you and say, let's clarify. By other groups, you mean other cults?
That's what we're under the impression of.
Most likely other cults.
Yes.
Do you want to see what they like might look like, so that you might be able to identify them if they've come through town?
I would.
Okay. Do you have a restroom really quick?
He'll be a
closet,
little
perhaps.
confused. You did not reveal to him that you're a changeling, right?
No, I don't.
No,
Okay.
but we have pieces of clothing that are theirs.
Yeah.
We could just show off the clothing.
Well,
So
I
he
memorized
does have the back office. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay. Alright, so-
He'd be a little confused and say, well, I do have the back office.
Would you mind giving me 5 minutes of privacy in there real quick? I'll explain myself when I come back out, I promise.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
The DC is stupid low, but okay, yeah.
13.
So he'll remain like, okay, but yeah, he'll just kind of gesture to the back room and say the door will latch itself when you close it.
Okay, great. Don't be alarmed when I come out. Sorry, it's kind of loaded. I'll be right back. And I'll take the armor that I got from the Feathergale Knight and change into the one guy that was still kind of kicking it.
Okay,
That
is that a 5-minute process?
unrecognizable.
Is that
Well,
why
the
you said 5
changing into
minutes?
the clothes, yeah.
Oh, the clothing. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it now. So for that like minute or so, maybe a couple minutes, he's going to read the letter. And at this point, the other 4 are going to be like coming behind him to also read it with him. And you'll notice all of their faces get like super serious. They're full business mode. Like they've been serious with you guys before. You've not heard the other 4 actually speak to this point, I don't believe, outside of like the muffled conversations as you approach. And for the first time, one of them will look at you guys and say, "Is this real?"
Yes.
Yes.
He's giving you a long, stern look. This would be like the NPC equivalent of insight checking you.
Sorry.
If you don't believe us, we could ease your mind.
I would like to make a request of you. And he's going to look directly at Cal. May I see your mind?
Cool.
Super neat.
That term, see your mind.
No.
Any particular reason?
I've had a couple run-ins with others who have worked their way into my mind. My mind is my own. I would prefer if more people didn't start meddling around in it.
Understandable.
The tiefling seems to have a way for us to prove ourselves. Surprisingly, that we have not proven ourselves already.
There's no question of proving yourselves. I simply refer to a quickened method of recalling the events that you all have experienced.
I mean,
Would anyone like to volunteer?
I don't know.
I would respect you if you decided against it.
I have a pretty open, blank mind.
So, Whirl, you're volunteering then?
Sure.
Okay.
What weirder things could go on today? Or all things
Well,
quiet.
funny you should ask.
Yeah, good.
At this moment, all 4 of them are going to completely warp into different forms. They are all dark elves.
What?
My hand is going to go straight to, like, not pulling it out, but it's going to it's basically like the gun to the holster aspect. And my
Sure.
hand's going to swift up to my great axe.
The one nearest you will gently hold his hand up. Not the one who's speaking, but the one nearest you will hold his hand up. And the one who has been speaking will say, I'm sorry that we've had to keep this secret. It is a centuries-old secret. We are meant to be here, but we don't know why. We come from the society that you visited, Cal. And all of us are puzzled by the events that are happening around here, but we have every reason to believe that time is of the essence. And this is the appropriate time to reveal ourselves. We remain nameless.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm
sorry.
almost done.
Okay, please go for it.
We remain nameless, but I at least have the gift of divination. And Red Larch and some surrounding areas are blocked from my vision.
Ooh.
I believe you visited at least one. May I see it?
Sure.
Upon hearing that they're from I'm assuming you're talking about the Watchful Order of Magus.
Yes, I just didn't pull the note up quickly enough.
No, I just wanted to make sure that was the same one. But upon hearing that
Yes.
that's where they're from, I will still very slowly and cautiously remove my hand back to my side.
Okay. So, Whirl, if you're still volunteering, he's going to approach you and
Okay.
hold out his hands in
Okay.
front of him.
Yes. Should I touch his hands also? Is this a patty cake situation?
He's essentially gesturing for you to put your hands in his.
Okay. I'm going to.
He assures you this will not hurt, although you will see the past of yourself
Okay.
in a very quick flash.
Tight.
So he closes his eyes, and for the rest of you, this is like a moment, like a half second at most. But Whirl, your mind flashes through your first arrival at Red Larch, going into the cave after the cave-in, and then going to Feathergale Spire, talking with Thurl Maraska, being almost thrown off the edge of the spire, and then like it almost slows down for the interrogation of Thurl Maraska up to the point that Cal dropped him off the edge of the spire. And then speeds back up through you guys combing through the spire and then coming back here. And then he releases and you open your eyes and it's if you just had like blinked.
Cool.
He says to you, you thought of using a bomb at that place.
I didn't think we should use the bomb. They mentioned I didn't want to use the bomb.
I suggested it as a possibility if things went wrong.
Please tell me that you still have it.
I do, and I start to like take it off of my back and hold the chest.
He'll offer his hands out and ask very politely, please.
I'm gonna start like slowly giving it to him, and like just because they've been requesting so much information and haven't felt very important up until now, can I insight check him?
Absolutely.
See if he's like, let's get my +5 that I finally have.
Oh, wow.
13.
You have no indication that they're malicious toward you in any way. It's clear that they know a lot. You don't have a whole lot of experience with elves, so that whole thing is kind of throwing you off.
Makes sense. So yeah, I just hand him the chest.
Okay.
I'd be careful with that. it will. You have seconds before that goes off if you open the chest.
You were able to figure that out.
It was a
Impressive.
50-50 guess. So we're more
Yeah,
lucky
we got
than
lucky.
smart.
Yeah.
We got lucky.
They're gonna check out the symbol that you guys have on there, and give each other another look, and they'll like simultaneously nod. And the constable is going to step back toward you guys. The four of them are going to place this box on a table and push their hands out in like a square, almost touching each other's fingers. And you'll see this pink, like, magical force field form
Fourth strength.
just around them.
Has Iz come back out yet?
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, you've come back out at this point. But they're so focused on what's going on right now
Sure.
that they've like barely even noticed that you came back in. So you're
That's
seeing this
okay.
happen.
Yeah.
They create this. They cast a spell clearly, and the one who took the box from you, Taryn, would open it and quickly close it with like poise. And the other three would give a nod as well, and this force field goes away. Do you understand what this is?
The bomb.
We just know that it's gonna explode.
It goes boom.
It's been centuries since we've seen one of these. This is a fire orb of devastation.
Oh.
It is far worse than a bomb.
Okay.
And how big of an explosion would it cause if it were to go off?
It would almost immediately wipe out Red Larch and cause fires for miles beyond.
Maybe it was a good idea that we didn't use it
I'm
on
going to
Spire.
kindly request that you not take this.
I think at this point it's fine if you hold on to it.
Party?
Hey,
Yeah.
no, please, for the love of Christ.
Yep.
Who's Christ? Some guy. Anyway.
Where did this come from?
Yartar.
We got a message that it was being sold and that we needed to retrieve it. And that's the most information we have.
You said
We know-
Yartar. That's too far
We-
away.
We know that it was originally in Tribor when we heard about it, and that the hands of Yartar had stolen it.
Okay, yeah, at this point the other three are chiming in and they're having like a discussion sort of half with you guys and half with themselves, and they say things like, that's too far away. Something is off. Are we too late? And they'll turn back to you, or not you, name Constable, and say that note said other orbs, yes? Was it just one or several?
I mean, it just says that the Eternal Flame is creating their own orbs, but it doesn't mention any other orbs.
This one is from the Eternal Flame.
Right. But it just says that they're creating their own orbs, so it doesn't say anything about additional orbs from the other people.
Okay.
But they may have been
They may
making
have
a
them.
bunch.
Right.
I have to
At
check
At the
Right.
very
that note
least,
again.
if they have been created, they haven't been revealed.
Yeah.
That is at least promising. This note mentions two places I'm not familiar with, and the other three will... We may need assistance with this. And the constable mentions, well, I know of a dwarf staying nearby who may be able to help us with that.
Is it the one that owns a thrift store down the street?
No. The
When we
Iron
met
Helm.
yeah, it's when we met at the inn.
Mm-hmm.
His brother was the
waiting
dwarf
for
that
his
got
brother.
taken. Mhm.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I had those characters mixed up.
No worries. I have to run to the bathroom real quick. Do we want to take a short break?
Sure.
Or,
Okay, BRB.
Just saying.
Yeah.
what, Joe, was your like your situation like if somebody did that push away, that they would have enough wind up to be casting that kind of magic, that the person who goes away would not, it wouldn't be in the same attack range, so the person who cast it would get an opportunity attack on them from the person who's being pushed away.
So, give me a.
We're having a quick interpretive rules discussion.
Because now it's like, I'm thinking about it, and it's like, depending on the situation, that would make sense.
And I'm sorry that I'm kind of like speaking on your behalf, Gert, but like I noticed it while reading the feat. So the whole, and I guess this is the key based off your ruling here. So this is how it's worded as telekinetic shove. As a bonus action, you can try to telekinetically shove one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. The target must succeed on a strength save or be moved 5 feet towards you or away from you. A creature can willingly fail this save. So at one point, they still have to sort of like make a save because they're like being moved, but it's telekinetic, so there's not actually any like, again, like using the force with your hand or something like that. It's all in the mind. So like there's a couple like flavor things with that wouldn't work, but they still have to make a save. Right. My scenario that I was worried about with this getting out of hand or whatever, or checking the technicality of it, is if there's a melee range, me and or Gert and somebody else, and she pushes them away, you're saying that wouldn't give her the opportunity attack, but would it give the enemy an opportunity attack as they moved away?
In that scenario, definitely no, because
yeah,
the person who moved away, I guess there's two tiers of this to keep in consideration. The person who moved away in that scenario did not move themselves away, which is a level of specification for an attack of opportunity. But then the other thing we haven't mentioned yet is the difference between the attack of opportunity is when someone uses their movement to move away. And being magically moved away is explicitly a different thing. Even if they do it to themselves, magically moved away. So yeah, let's keep thinking on that. That I have a feeling that will become important.
Cool.
Yeah,
Complicated abilities.
I want her to shove people around too.
Yeah.
I do
Shove
too.
people all the time.
Yeah, I'm
All the
basically
time.
going to think of it in comparison to the Eldritch Blast invocation.
Silver Blast.
Yeah, I'm forgetting now what it's called, even though I use it multiple times a session in my other game. But you can, on a hit with this spell, push the target away 10 feet, but it explicitly does not provoke attacks of opportunity for anybody. So yeah, we'll have to look at that. Okay, so
Sorry that I totally like side-railed this whole conversation.
that's okay. If I wanted to put the kibosh to it and say let's talk about it later, I would. But I feel like it's entirely appropriate, so no worries.
We might want to push some people around in this room.
Exactly. Okay, so we left off at this elf asked you if you could leave this orb here.
Yes.
Yes,
It
of course we can.
sounded
Please.
like you're collectively mostly okay with that.
Yes to both questions.
Okay. He'll continue. This is a sign of people on this plane tapping into the elemental planes. That is not good. And he'll say, "I had not seen this yet."
Have you seen it before?
In the past.
Like how far into the past?
I can't say exactly, but I would have to guess at least 1,000 years. This is not good. Can we find that dwarf?
Yeah, let's go do it.
Before we do that, what do we do if we find more orbs?
Exactly what you did with this one.
Cool. So, my next.
Yes, though.
We truly guessed at putting the right symbol on the outside. Can you guys tell us what the right symbols are?
These are, or it's one symbol, right? You put one
Right.
symbol in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
still had to guess, like, if which one was fire, and then have to guess which one was water to counteract the fire.
Where
Yeah,
did you
but I
get the
guess-
symbol from?
Dorothra.
No,
we saw the symbols on her desk.
no.
Oh, the
first-
hand.
Yeah,
Right,
we
we-
got it from the hands,
We-
and we sort of guessed from there.
Right, we got it from the hands and also from like the eye.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I.
So who has the
The-
drawing of the eye?
The
Got
eye?
it. Got it. Hang on.
So the first wacky thing that we did when we got here, I don't know if you saw it in my brain. We went to this mine outside of town because there had been some like zombies or like undead there. And when we got all the way through this mine, there was like this weird power surge of energy that was showing us this symbol.
I'll hold up my drawing of the eye. So this thing is what we saw.
He's going to look at that with like a perplexion, not confusion. He's clearly studying it, and he'll say, "I've never seen this before," and the other three will shake their heads no.
Cool.
Are you assuming that this is tied to these cults?
Yes, very much so.
May I again? And he's going to look at you, Whirl, and hold his hands out.
Sure. Put my hands in his hands.
Same
At
effect
this-
happens. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say at this point I'm reading the room and realizing they don't need to see what one of these people looks like, so I'm just gonna back out into the other room, just kind of leave it cracked so I can hear the conversation and just change back into my clothing.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Right.
He's gonna do the same thing, and the
Cool.
same effect will happen. But the sort of like fast forward that you see is you guys going through the cave, seeing several zombies, Orioth himself, and then it'll slow back down to like the real time in your mind of your encounter at the end with Orioth, and you are going to see sort of like it's as if you're third person on your own past sight now.
Sure.
You are going to see where the eye appeared, you know, where the staff of magic missile was, where it had appeared there, is just a gray flame.
Like the
And
heat, so they don't see the symbol in the flame at all.
he cannot see the symbol in the flame, and where you know there were voices speaking to each other,
Yeah.
all you hear is and
I'll be like,
you
I
kinda
swear there was more shit. I
you
swear there
kinda
was more
snap
stuff.
out of it, and he now has like a very concerned look on his face, and he says, "That's exactly what that spire looked like to me. I can't see it. This is a sign." This entire time, the constable is just like, he's sitting in the corner with like this scruffed look on his face, like he cannot contribute at all. And they're gonna pause there for a moment. Do you guys have any reactions?
Quick clarifying question: did the constable change into a dark elf, or was
Nope.
he just still himself? Okay.
He is still himself.
It was just everyone else there. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Cool.
Guys, if we remember the note, it said that the eternal flame was making their own orbs. And since it was written in a letter, presumably from the Howling Hatred, do you think that they also have their orbs made in somewhere out in the world?
Are you asking
they
the elves, or are you just talking to each other?
Like everybody in the room.
Okay.
I mean, if they haven't started, I'm sure everyone's thinking about it for sure. All of the other ones, the Black Earth and the Crushing Wave, are the other two that are mentioned.
One of the other elves who has not been talking yet is going to chime in and say, these are names and terms we don't recognize. Black Earth, Eternal Flame. Even these names of places you mention, and the note and the letter mentions, we don't recognize them. So
Perhaps
we cannot
they're-
interpret these symbols.
Perhaps they're newly established.
That is a likely case. In the instances in the past that these orbs were created, waves of erasing occurred soon after.
Mm-hmm.
Entire populations wiped out. But it's not clear why.
And that's what Gimlin was talking about, was that this area goes through a cycle of complete devastation and then rebuilding.
Constable's gonna chime in and say he should be at the inn.
Shall we go to the inn then?
I think we should go to the inn.
Or should we try and bring him here? What's the most... Is it
I think it's best that you bring him here,
cool?
lest we create a scene in public places.
Makes-
All right, let's go get him.
So I think we're gonna just go back to we're just gonna go back to the tavern and look for Gimlin.
Okay. Nothing eventful happens on your way.
Cool.
You're at the inn and it's midday. Fairly busy. There's a bunch of people going in all directions on the roads, in and out of the shops. There are plenty of people at the inn, having lunch, having drinks at the bar. Basically anything you would expect to see going into an inn and tavern.
Do we see him?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna approach the barkeep and just try to get his attention, his or her attention.
Ah, yes, a drink for you.
A drink would be nice, but I'm looking for somebody. He's a dwarf about yay tall. Has a lot of paperwork with him. Do you...
Oh, yes, the goofy one. He's staying on the second floor.
Thank you. I'm just gonna toss him do I have a couple silver or do I only have gold?
Are you taking a drink?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a drink.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna motion for... Actually, no, I'm just gonna go up by myself, so it doesn't look suspicious, and knock on Gimlin's door.
Okay. Are the rest of you with him, or are you kind of staying back?
I'll stay downstairs.
Yeah, I'll stay downstairs too. Yep.
Okay. So as you knock on the door, Taryn, you're going to hear a and shuffling of papers and wood scruffing across wood as if a table or chair was being moved, and a slightly disheveled looking Gimlin is going to greet you at the door.
Good morning, Gimlin. So I think my companions and I have found something that could help you with your work.
Oh?
We would need you to come with us to go meet somebody.
Who is
they
this
have-
somebody?
It's the constable.
Ah, yes. I've been trying to get an audience granted with him for days. Thank you so much. Let me gather my things. And he's gonna shuffle back and like quickly. He's gonna do like the full arm sweep, like outside to in on his table with all his papers, and try to like get them put together and like front hug him and
I'm
start walking out with you.
I'm gonna like try to. I'll ask him if I can take some of it to help his load.
Oh no, it's okay, it's okay. Method to the madness, of course.
Okay. I think we're just gonna walk down back to the bottom of the stairs.
All right. As you guys get there, the same bartender that just served you a few seconds ago is gonna look over and kind of like single eyebrow with a smirk on his face, watching the goofy one with you.
I'm gonna make a character decision. I'm gonna light up my horns to try to draw attention away from him.
Cool.
Okay. Make a performance check.
Oh, where's the peas? There it is.
That I do every time.
I am illiterate and don't know my languages. 18.
Okay, so you make your
Nice.
horns glow a bit, and then the bartender and a few other people immediately look at you like, huh.
I'm just gonna kind of like fall back from Gimlin and like motion for everyone else to make sure that he gets outside, okay? This is like just purely out of like he just doesn't want people staring at him because he knows what it's like.
Sure.
So yeah, he's just gonna spend about like maybe 5 minutes in the tavern after everybody leaves.
Okay. Yeah, after that brief moment of kind of like just a head tilt that everybody gives at that moment that you make your horns glow, everything goes kind of back to normal. It wasn't even like an extreme occurrence. You just kind of noticed it because you were doing something intentionally to make that happen, and then you noticed that you drew the kind of attention that you expected to.
So I just wanted to make sure that they weren't, or at least the barkeep wasn't looking at Gimlin and laughing about it.
I got
so,
you.
and then I just wanted to do that. And then just not to look suspicious, spend a little extra time in the bar so it didn't look like I was trying to get him out of there.
Okay. On the way back to the constable's place, Gimlin is going to mention to you guys, I am in need of assistance with finding my brother. He can help me with these maps. Do you know anyone who's good with maps?
Ooh, are any of us good with maps?
Maps?
I can look at them. I don't know if I'm good with them, but I would love to look over them with you. I think maps are cool.
I also have eyes and can look at things.
Yes, very well, very well. And he'll keep walking. He's not going to bust out his maps in the middle of the road, but...
Is there anything interesting you found in the last week?
Just more evidence of cycles. It's just the same cycle over and over. The same points draw people to them, and then very quickly they vanish. Within a matter of a year, if not less.
You talked about like devastation of whole places being wiped out. What do you mean by that? Like what is happening like physically to the area?
I can't say for sure. It's as if the people just vanish. It's unclear to me if it's death or magic or what specifically it may be. That's where Gimlin I think can help me out. Bruldenthar. Goddamn names.
It's a fun nickname you guys like to call each other.
Yeah,
Your own names.
I have a feeling that something about the places can tell us more. That's his expertise.
Good to know.
Yeah. Do you know at what frequency this massive destruction is occurring? or is that also lost?
I want to say that I briefly mentioned this the first time he talked with you.
Yeah.
If nobody
Just don't
remembers, then he's going to say about every 1,000 years.
I was
Okay.
gonna say I thought it was roughly every 1,000 years,
Yeah.
but I remembered him saying that.
Okay. Cool. I will underline that in my notes.
Cool. Well, I think we're almost to the constables.
Yeah.
Yep. So he'll actually be kind of like looking for you as you're coming in this time, and let you all in, close the door behind you, and actually make an extra concerted effort to lock the door behind you guys this time. Gimlin, I apologize that I have not been able to see you the past few days. But as I understand it, we may be able to help each other. Oh shit, I just walked myself into the DM talking to himself trap.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Awesome! Okay, yes. You need to see these maps. Do you have anyone here who's good with map? Oh. And he's gonna like just full stop for a second at the sight of the 4 dark elves. All of you make a history check.
Ooh, plus 0, what are we gonna get? Oh yeah, let's get a 6.
Woof.
Solid
Ooh.
showing.
1 plus 1 is
Cow.
2.
16 for Cal.
That
These
tracks
are
though.
maps. So Cal, you do have a vague understanding at the rarity of dark elves, especially the rarity of seeing dark elves anywhere other than locations that go directly to the Underdark. And the Underdark is not a place that you understand much about, but you do understand that it is basically the place where dark elves or drow come from. So he's like very surprised at the sight of 4 dark elves here and say, "Am I being taken prisoner?" And then one of the elves will pipe in and say, "No, we're different. It's okay. You have maps?" "Ah, yes. These cycles, the cycles happening around here. Red Larch is in the middle of one of these places, but I have nearby 4, at least, perhaps 5 or 6, that create a sort of concentrated area of repeated activity. Are you aware of these cycles of people arriving and then disappearing?" And the one who had spoken to you before and seen into Whirl's memories is going to kind of lift his head and look at you guys and look back down and say, "Well, yes." "Do you know why?" "No." He's going to Jesus Christ. Gimlin. Ooh, I did this to myself. Gimlin is going to pull out one sheet of paper that has, you guys are close enough that you'd be able to see is a rough drawing of what looks vaguely like the Desserin Valley map. And you see a number on it that says 1390.
Okay.
1390. And he'll say, whoops, no. 490. Math is hard. 3 digits, 490.
Cool.
And he'll say, "This is the last occurrence that I can find. My brother was supposed to help me with these places. Do you know these places?" And the constable is going to pull out one of his pieces of paper from the back room and put it right next to it, and you'd recognize it as the very same map of the valley that he showed you before, with a number 1492 at the top.
Nice. That's when Columbus sailed the deep blue sea.
In character, you all understand that the current year in game is 1492. So this 490 looks pretty clearly like a year. And Gimlin's basically going to like try to hold up his map above the other one, and he's kind of like, clearly trying to align it. Does anyone have a light?
I'm gonna pull out anything out of any of my pouches, probably like a glass vial or something, and then just cast light on it and hand it to him.
Okay, so when you do that, he's going to put his map on top of the other one and then pull them up both together and hold them like facing him, but the backside facing your light. Bingo. And he's going to put the maps back down and start marking 6 locations on his map. And then pull them back side by side and start comparing them to the map that Constable pulled out. One of them is Red Larch. One of them is Yartar.
Ooh, okay, I gotta get my notes. Scroll.
One of them is Feathergale Spire. And the other 2 are marked as Castle with a question mark and Stones.
You said there were 6. That was only 5.
That was 5. What's my 6th?
I don't know, but I want
Multiple castles.
castle.
No.
Other castle.
Let me. I just gotta flip the pages for myself here real quick. I said. Did I say Yartar?
Yeah,
Said
Red Larch,
Yartar, Feathergale Spire, Castle, Stone.
Oh, yeah. The 6th one is basically like a point right in between Feathergale Spire and Sacred Stone that says Scarlet Moon Hall.
Does this look like the place where the Dukes, the Aarakocra pointed to the prisoners being?
I mean, I do have written down Silvery Moor and Settlestone, and I don't know why.
Silvery Moor is, I believe, where you're from, isn't it?
No, I'm from Seacomer.
Okay. Somebody's from Silvery Moor or near it.
I'm
that's
from Silvery
like
Moon.
way the
could-
heck away from here.
That could be an N.
Okay. And what was the other one?
Settlestone?
Settlestone?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Cool, then
I'll-
forget I said anything.
And then there is a scribbled note on the constable's map under the castle question mark that says Riverguard. Thieves.
Ooh. Riverguard, was that one of the places? I need to pull up the note again.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was.
In the letter?
Monastery and Riverguard Keep. I'm saying that out loud.
The elf is going to look at this and say, 5 of these are the exact points that I cannot see. This cannot be coincidence.
Oh, so you can't see Yartar either?
That is the one I can see. But this spire, this keep, monastery, and hall, these are not places or names we're familiar with. Oh, that's odd. Well, either way, it seems that they are common points of occurrence for this population fluctuations.
Gimlin, I think we're our group is going to have to travel to one of them So I think that if eventually when we do, we'll be sure to bring you something to help you in your studies.
As you're talking, he's going to be kind of like clearly half there and half like the wheels are still like fully churning, and he's gonna like fling papers away. He's going down in his pile, and he pulls up another sheet of paper that has an image that kind of looks like a vague profile of the Feathergale Spire. To you guys, at least.
Mhm.
And it's clearly got like a bunch of notes on it, writing and pointing to different areas of this rock formation. And all of you make an insight check, please. Well, everybody who's looking at it, at least.
Got a good insight.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, I don't have a good insight.
Whirl, you notice that there are definitely certain features on this drawing that are different from the building you saw. You see the same overall profile,
Right.
but the decorative stone depictions of like the eagles and hippogriffs are not on this drawing, and there is no statue at the top. Gimlin's going to turn to you guys and say, "You've been here, yes?
Yes, we just got back.
Did you happen to get the make of the stone?"
It was. I asked about it.
It was super well carved. I remember
Fuck.
that.
Was it limestone?
I think it was limestone.
It was limes, yeah.
White limestone and marble.
Ooh,
Dwarven architecture.
yeah.
Yes, it was.
Because that was the same thing that the stuff underground was made out of too, wasn't it?
Right, because I remember being like, "Psst, I think the dwarves made this."
He's going to okay, I am very sorry, but I'm gonna have to vagify this and say that you guys know, and I'll have to find the details and come back to it later. But he's gonna pull out 3 more sheets of paper. You would have noticed there's a year at the top. 490 again. And he'll pull out 3 more that depict at least one looks like a small castle. And then the other 2 insert description here that you know. It's just that I, the DM, can't pull them up right now because I don't want to spend 10 minutes sifting through where is it. We'll come back to that when I do find it. But you get a clear, at least like profile of what these other 3 locations look like.
Well, at least we're finally getting some answers to our questions. That's somewhere on the bright side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now we have options of where to go.
right.
DM, is this like, from these maps, can we like see where they are in relation to Red Larch? Like see where these locations are?
Yeah, so he marked them on Constable's map.
Cool.
So I'll flip to the world map. Where'd it go? There it is. And reveal basically like the X's. That's there. It's there. Why is this being so funky?
It's been funky forever.
Can you guys see the map clearly?
Yeah.
Yes.
For some reason,
Your
for
roll
me,
20. It might just be loading really slowly because that happens to me sometimes, where there's like a good 30 seconds. where
Yeah,
it's just
no,
blurry.
it's not that. It's definitely not that. It's like the entire map is tinted, or the entire page is tinted as if I'm like on the GM layer. Like this looks
Right.
exactly what it looks like to be on the GM layer in Roll20,
That's super weird.
but I'm not. So, well, it looks okay on the screen, so I guess I'm just not gonna worry about it.
Did you like tint down the opacity for you?
Nope, it's at the default, and if I go to any other like map, like if I flip to this one, it's normal.
Weird.
Red large, it's normal. Yeah, I don't know. Okay,
Weird.
I won't worry about it too much. So the 4 locations that are now on the map you would have been able to see. Oh my gosh, it's gonna do that to me. I'm gonna do this. Token layer. Okay, do you see a new X directly east of Red Larch?
Yeah.
Let's see if my computer.
The one that says, oh yes, that one.
Okay, that's 2. 3.
They're all so close together.
And 4.
They're all very close together.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense why they're at war with each other if they're so close.
Mm-hmm.
But then why is Yartar so far away?
I feel like Yartar. I don't feel like Yartar is a keep. I feel like it's more of a trade center that involves these. That involves the keeps of the 4 elements.
It's also on the same river too, so
Oh.
relatively
Ooh.
accessible.
Okay, you guys can see the X's and their labels now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Feathergale, Scarlet Moon Hall.
Although I thought that we had said that one of the X's was at Yartar and this one's at Tribor.
That one you guys already knew about. Yartar is already visible to you over here.
Right,
Yeah.
but there,
Yeah.
it's just that there's also an X
I'm
at
saying
Tribal,
there's an
so that's why we're
X at Tribor
Oh, that X,
and not an X at Yartar.
the X at Tribor. Okay, yeah, I apologize. The X at Tribor is marking the spot that you guys found, that like a skirmish happened,
Right,
and
Right.
that you met Darathra.
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, but it is noteworthy that Yartar is the other location marked with X's on his map, but for reasons they're not X's on this map.
Well, that seems like a pretty straightforward shot if we were to investigate some of these places.
Mm-hmm.
Constable's going to chime in and say, I've heard of thieves around this Riverguard keep. They're repairing an old castle. I've not heard of these other 2. I know nothing about them.
Are the thieves rebuilding an old castle, or are there, like, officials rebuilding a castle?
Well, given its location along that river, I can't much think like a thief, but it seems secluded but accessible enough that the right people who know how to get there would be able to.
You need someone to think like a thief? What? I can help you with that.
Don't worry,
Um,
she's a good thief.
Yes.
Yeah, make a general intelligence check.
Ooh, intelligence. Oh boy.
Phrasing on that though.
Nice. General
Oh,
intelligence.
7.
Phrasing on what?
Don't worry, she's a good thief.
Oh.
That's what we're worried about.
That is an oxymoron.
I didn't think about that. 17. Okay, so you're not one who's really thought about like, at least not like military style tactics on like location and that sort of thing, but from a rogue perspective, in studying this map and that location, it's like exactly what the constable is saying. Like it's pretty secluded. Really, the only way it would be visible is from that river, and the river is big enough that even if you were like on the other side of it, you know, a fortification could be hidden enough that you might not see it unless you were intentionally looking for it.
Okay.
Constable, you mentioned thieves. Do you, just kind of a weird question, do you know if bears are around this area? If they naturally inhabit this area?
Bringing it full circle. Nice.
So good.
He'll say no. Do you mean like attacks?
On our way into the city, we encountered some bandits along the Karen Road, and they had a bear in a cage. So we weren't sure if it may have originated from that area or not. Or I wasn't sure.
That would not be my wheelhouse. Perhaps the Lorne?
There's another thing we can ask when we get ready to leave. So. This is certainly the development.
The elf is going to chime in again and say, we need to study these maps with this dwarf and tap into our memories and history. Something is at work here, and with the emergence of this orb, I fear we're looking at an omen.
After this sentence, I'm going to turn to Gimlin and say, all right, now, because you're doing this, I know you're very eager about your studies, but you have to make sure that you trust whoever you're telling this to, because you're involved in this plot.
He's gonna look at you and kind of like try to hide his finger and kind of point at Constable and the elves and be like, eh?
We brought you here, so yes, you should trust them.
Oh, okay.
Also, tone it back a little bit. Drow are rare, but because of the situation, I don't think that the prisoner comment was necessary.
Yes. Well, history of dwarves and elves and all. Couldn't help myself.
Taryn will remember this.
Constable's going to say if there's any possibility of getting more information from someone at one of these locations, that would be incredibly helpful.
You know, there may be somebody in town that could also help. It's kind of a long shot, but the cleric that visited you when we had first arrived, Emdar, he may know something.
I'll take note to see him as soon as possible.
A couple more questions about the orbs, just in case we run into them. We found the one, and we know how big it was. Do they tend to be roughly the same size, or do they get bigger?
You're asking about the orbs?
Yes. So we can prepare if we find more.
The elf will say the others will look exactly like this, save for the color.
So again, I want to confirm that we know what each of the orbs is and how to block each of the orbs. So, what other information do we need to be able to do that?
The elves don't know. They definitely explicitly said they can't identify the symbols or what they mean.
Okay.
And all they were able to tell you was like, whatever you did to this one clearly worked. So if you can, do it again. They were that vague because they don't know.
So to the group. So we figured out that was most likely something to do with water,
Right.
which we haven't seen a resemblance of other than in the eye. So
Yes.
we would have to. We know that there's the Black Earth, which might have an orb. Because we don't know for sure if they still, like, where those are, but we would have to figure out the Black Earth's symbol for probably air if water and fire cancel each other out.
Right.
And
I mean, I would make a guess that air is probably the Howling Hatred. And since we saw that one symbol on the robes at the Howling Hatreds, I would guess that would be air, which is the like downturny arrow one.
Yeah. So we have
We got two.
how many? we have two symbols that we know for sure. We have the Eternal Flames rune, but we don't know that it's the Eternal Flame, right, DM?
Right.
Okay, yeah. I thought so.
Yeah, you have all the symbols
Yeah.
and you have all the cult names.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to deduce which one was the opposite of the red orb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, context clues. Yeah, I think you guys have
Right.
at least one conclusion that you can draw.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we'll be
Alright.
pretty good the next time we find one.
Cool. I was hoping to get I was hoping that the dark elves would just tell us, but if we had to, this is also fine. I am fine that we made the deductions on our own, even though we already knew the
Unless,
answer.
I mean, I would allow you to retcon insight check any of that, but your passives, aside from what you did specifically check, your passives would have told you with a fair amount of confidence that they were telling the truth, that they don't know.
So, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay the night in town and then set out tomorrow for one of the keeps?
And which one first? I mean,
So just to, are you guys on the big map?
Yeah, we're on the big
Yeah.
one still. Somebody is.
So you've been to Feathergale, so you would know that in order to get to Scarlet Moon, you'd have to go through this mountain area. You could take if you took a short way to Riverguard, it would take you slightly less time than getting to Scarlet Moon because of terrain. And to get to Sacred Stone, you would have to basically, from here, you would have to basically pass by either of the other two.
Cool.
okay.
I mean,
Probably.
what if we sort of made a circle? If we hit, we go past Feathergale to Scarlet Moon, then hit Sacred Stone, and then Riverguard Keep, and head back.
Seems like a pretty good plan. I think maybe we should take a day and prep ourselves and
Maybe get some equipment ready.
right.
Prepare. Oof.
Talk to all of our
Maybe-
faction heads, see if there's any new shit we need to learn.
Yeah. Also,
Because I want to go to that thrift shop and see if I can find any wackadoo shit in there.
Cal, how's your javelin? We haven't seen it yet since you returned.
Is it sick?
I mean, I'll kind of unclip the javelin and do a little twirl. It doesn't look much different.
Fair.
It just looks a little excuse me, a little sharper, a little shinier. And I'd like to think that that's bad. Hold on. I forgot his name. Fang. I feel like Fang has some sort of, whatever the symbol is, he's got some sort of like something that's like stamped as like
His mark.
I approve this weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
This weapon.
So it's probably got like a little something on there that just says Fang approved. It doesn't like say that in words, but like the symbol
Fang
lets you
tested,
know
mother
that it's like,
approved.
oh,
Okay.
he went to Anvil and Hammer. Or the Ironhead arms. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was reading the symbol that was on the sign. Let's try it again. Oh, he went to Ironhead arms.
Boy.
Instant advertising.
But
Like-
yeah, otherwise it's not like it's glowing or
Right.
on fire or anything like that.
Hopefully you got your money's worth when you can put it to the test, because sounds like we'll all need to do some sort of gearing up for what's about to come. Hopefully they have beds. So
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask an out of the game question.
Sure.
So like, are we just going to spend the rest of the day in town talking to people, gearing up, and then head out in the morning?
That sounds good to me.
I'm for it.
Okay.
The only
And by
question I
gearing up,
had-
That's with whatever, money we happen to have, which, spoiler alert, is very little.
I mean, you guys still have all that stuff to sell, though.
That's true.
yeah.
I have some plans to talk to some people. Maybe. See how shit works down.
Okay. I'm gonna flip back to the Red Larch map then. All right. You are here.
Woo! What I would like to do, I would like to speak to Mdar. I have a couple questions to ask him. I don't know if everybody would be able to come. I would assume so, because where he's staying is a place for a pilgrimage. I just don't know if you would be interested in cleric stuff.
I mean, I'll go.
I for sure want to go back to... Crap, I forgot his name. The dude that owns the thrift store.
Our good buddy Endrith Vallivoe.
Indrith Vallivoe. I like him, and I want to go in there. But I also want to go in there with Gert to see if she can detect magic in the room, to see if we find anything good that he doesn't know is there. I'm also thinking, what are everyone's thoughts on the armor that we have of the Howling Hatred? Do we want to keep it around, or do we want to try and sell it?
I would like to not have this anymore. So
Hey.
if selling it is an option, I'm okay with that.
Then we could either go to the fancy clothing place, which I believe is number 7, or we could go to the armor guy.
Ooh.
I mean, it's more of an armor, isn't it? It's
Hey.
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
At the very least, they can repurpose it somehow. So yeah.
But if we have that feather cloak, we could probably take it to the fancy clothing place.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the cloak out of whatever sack I have it folded up into and give it to Whirl.
Say, I will do all of the bargaining because I have some plans.
Like these plants.
I'd like to take this opportunity to let you guys know this is one of those sessions where we're gonna test my winging it.
Yeah,
I believe.
that's why this cloak got feathers, because you winging it.
Oh
that's
man!
amazing.
All right.
Splitting the party and in the middle of the biggest town? Crazy.
Right.
All right.
Oh,
so
gosh.
who is where first?
Yeah, but wait, where am I going?
I mean,
Where do you want to go?
I agree with Whirl that it would be great to look for magic items in the 50 shop.
Mhm.
But also, I don't necessarily know that I have questions for Imdar, but it might be nice to just like hang out, hear what he has to say about stuff.
I mean, if you want, you can very quickly come with us to the sundry shop, do a cool magic thing, see if there is magic stuff there.
And
Kinda-
then while you guys sell all the things that I don't realize that you stole,
Exactly.
I can leave.
Yeah. You can remove yourself from a
that
situation.
I don't necessarily agree that you stole. Yeah, cool. Let's go about it that way.
Okay. So let's start down there, and then maybe we'll like split off as you guys go to the shrine.
Yes.
Words are hard. And then Iz and I don't know what Cal wants to do during all of this, but I know I for sure am going to start just shucking items at places.
Cal, do you have a specific place you would like to go?
Have you talked to your
No.
faction head yet?
Yes, we've discussed some things.
Cool.
I'll return there in time. I'll accompany you, and
Cool.
Depending on the buying and selling of everything, might need an extra pair of hands.
Also, are we splitting the cut? Or how are we gonna do it?
I mean, it's really interesting that you say that considering you gathered none of the items. But yeah, I was planning on splitting the cut.
Called out. Oh, damn.
But yes, I was
Yeah.
planning on splitting the cut for the record. The only thing I'm keeping is stuff that I make while I sing.
That
That's
is
fair.
entirely fair.
Yeah. Or things I secretly swipe from like monasteries in that one fairy ring.
Okay.
Did you swipe something from a monastery?
Well, I swiped stuff when we were in the hole. What? Did I say that out loud? I don't know what you're talking about. So I just found on the ground somewhere. Point being, let's go to that thrift shop.
That was
Alright.
the Black Earth cult lair, so you're good. It's
Reel
Right.
it in. Reel it in.
You're good.
So I did tell you the value of everything that you guys picked up, right?
Yes, and if not,
Yeah.
I clicked in one of the things and it told me that the armor is a solid chunk of money.
Yeah, so I think the specific items you picked up I did not tell you the value of, but there was just like a collective value of all the other things that you picked up.
Right?
So for a little flavor's sake, we can say that you guys like scooped up the things that were that much value, and when you go to the shops, you'll get that much money for them.
Cool.
Okay.
So where to first?
Vallivoe's first, I think,
Yeah.
right?
First, real quick, I wanted to give my shield to one of you guys and say, could you use my the portion of money that you divide up for me to give to have this enchanted in some way to make it more protective?
Oh.
I'm gonna say yes, but the last time we had something enchanted / worked on, it was gone for about a week. So just, I don't know if he'll have like a loaner, or if you're cool being shieldless for our next possible trek, or if we want to stay here for a week while things get worked on.
I could stay in the back, and I think now time is more urgent. Or like we have to get our tasks done quicker now that we've learned what's going on.
Cool. Just putting that out there. Sounds good though. But yes, we will take your chunk of the cut and add it to the shield.
Thank you.
Whirl, do you remember approximately how many trinkets we found?
I found roughly $20 or 20 gold worth of trinkets, and you found roughly $100 worth of trinkets. Not that I remember that.
Okay, no, it's great. It's
Did
great.
not even write it down. Fully actually remembered that.
What I had, but I just wanted to double check and see if.
I'm glad you did because I legit did not.
God, I could have lied.
Yeah. I mean, I would have looked back,
7,000 gold.
but I do remember I explicitly used the amounts that were listed. Like I didn't mess with the as written stuff at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. To the trinket store?
Yes.
to the trinket store.
To
Was
the
it
trinket store.
this one? I think that was this one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's 22.
We all did different montage themes.
Before we go in there, I'm gonna take my wand of magic missile and be like, "Hey, Cal, can you hold this while I'm in there? I don't want too much stuff on myself that might ping anything accidentally."
Sure.
Tight.
Hold on to it, stick it into my pack.
Awesome. That way you can have more giant sticks coming out of your already menacing and doom showing frame. And thus I look more lithe and enchanting. Anyway, let's go in.
Amazing.
I guess I'll knock. Knock, knock, knock.
After like before you even finish knocking, you're gonna hear this immediate like somebody was startled inside and like knocked over stuff in the process. And you'll hear, oh Jesus, these stupid things. 1 second. You'll hear the person inside come to the door and kind of like open and crack it just enough to like peek his eye in. Sorry, I'm leaning toward my other screen like you're there. Peek his eye open and notice that it's you guys and say, oh, come in.
Hello. I hope you're having
Yes.
a lovely chunk of time. I don't remember when it was the last time we saw you, but
I think it was less than a week ago in game.
Cool. Well, I hope you had a good rest of your week. Did anything wild or exciting happen that we should know about?
Wild and exciting. I don't think I'd be alive if anything wild or exciting happened.
Well, we are about to be wild and exciting for you.
Oh dear.
I forget. Are we selling things with Gert in the room, or are we just looking first?
Let's go ahead and look first.
Cool. No, we just wanted to come by and say hi, see if you knew anything, and frankly, I just find your shop fascinating, and frankly could spend like 2 years in your dungeon and everything.
While she's got him distracted with her chit chat, I cast Detect Magic.
Okay. You, as you do that, Vallivoe is going to look at you and go, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Who are you?
This is Gert. Did we not introduce you last time? She's with us.
I've met you. I
Yeah.
bought a train. I bought some
that
coal.
was you. I'm
Train,
sorry. Retract the who are you. I legit thought it was Iz. I'm sorry. But he's still going to be like, oh, wait, whoa. At you, like clearly doing your verbal and somatic components of, or you have a focus, not a somatic, right?
No, it's somatic.
But do you have a spellcasting focus, or
No.
I forget what you decided.
Hey,
Oh, it's your holy symbol.
I think
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're doing the cleric thing. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna see you kind of like doing your mumbling to cast a spell and do this like, whoa, wait, what are you doing?
We were trying to distract him.
You were trying to distract him?
I mean, a little bit, so that he didn't see that.
Oh, that's why
Yeah,
you were
so
saying
that
the
was-
Why
things.
was being
Yes.
like, yeah.
Got
That's
it.
why I was saying while she's
Yeah.
chit chatting. Sorry,
Okay.
that was out of character. I forgot to preface that.
I'm with you now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So none of that happens.
Yeah.
You get a small ping from I think I described this before as sort of like a T. There's the front door, and as you go in, there's no map. It's just
You're
one
good.
sort of house thing. There's like one hallway going from the door to the back of the house, and then on either side is an opening to the separate rooms. You've been into all three areas of this place before, kind of sifting through things where you found the toy. And Gert, you get one faint sense of... I will get the School of Magic to you in a minute, but it is to the room on the right. Transmutation magic.
Ooh.
I wander toward whatever it is that is giving me the ping.
Okay. It's very messy in here, and you, at first glance, you have a hard time like really pinpointing it. But if you sifted through things a bit, you would be able to find a book.
Ooh.
And when you get really close to it, there's something off about the magic that you're feeling. You're not as experienced with the effects of detect magic. However, you get this odd feeling that it's like incomplete. I don't know of a better way to describe it, and that's exactly how you should feel about how it feels.
I take the book, and I guess I walk over to what's his butt?
Vallivoe?
Yes. I walk over to Vallivoe and I ask, how much?
Last time you were here, you said you didn't want that. What changed?
We've
Said I
just
didn't
been really getting into reading lately. Just, we've had a lot of time on the road, and like, it's really pretty outside, but sometimes you just need something to read.
Okay. You remember what I told you about that, right? The
No.
guy I bought it from? This was a while ago.
I thought we did ask for it. He was like, no, I'm keeping it.
He was kind of back and forth about it last time,
Okay.
and then was like, you probably can't afford it. The story behind it was that he got it from like a shady dude.
Right, I remember the story.
Who said that he got it from docks at a castle near the river.
Right. My player face made that, but Worlds didn't. I think we're just like, we're trying to read about the area, and you like castles, don't you, Gert?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm
Fascinated by
curious.
him.
Before I part with it, can you read it?
I recall it was in Dwarven.
You would remember last time that you saw it. It was in Dwarvish.
Right. Maybe not right now, but in the event that we can translate it, since, Harpers and all that, we'll be sure to bring you a translation post haste.
Uh-huh. Okay. 4 gold. And he's gonna be kind of like, the whole time he's like super skittish and not like on the edge of twitchy, just as he was before, but yeah.
Done. We can do that, and I will give him 4 gold.
And just to make sure, you didn't get that here, please?
Absolutely.
I don't know where I got it.
Been in the family for a long time.
Yeah.
We know a bunch
Picked
of
it up from a
dwarves.
friend.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Gert, weren't you gonna go meet with Taryn over
Yeah.
the temple?
Yes, I should get to that. Thank you for this. I will see you guys at the room,
Yes.
and I will see you soon, good sir. Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks.
And I go to the shrine.
Okay, before we go to the shrine, I would appreciate a very short break.
Cool.
Yes.
I gotta run to the bathroom and actually find some notes so that I'm not fumbling around while you guys are actively asking questions.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
good.
All right.
Make a
We'll
salad.
be right back.
Bye.